What's going on, everybody? This weekend I will be showing my car at Hot Import Nights in Dallas, which is going to be the first show my car is going to be at ever. And I'm actually pretty excited. I need to do quite a bit of things. Well, not like a bit, but a few things before the car is ready for the show. I need to fix some of the wrap because there's some of the edges that look a little off. Finish the engine cover. It still needs to be wet sanded and polished to look nice and glossy. What else? I want to do something with the trunk, just like some lighting or something, because I know it's gonna look a little dark once that dome light turns off when I unplug the battery. And I need to align my exhaust tips because they have been crooked since the day I installed them, and it's kind of starting to upset me. And if I'm gonna do it, might as well do it now, right? Besides that, just some regular detailing to the car. Interior needs to be vacuumed, completely cleaned. Engine bay needs to be cleaned, trunk needs to be cleaned. The outside of the car needs to be wiped again, and that's about it. But today I'm gonna be going to Home Depot to try to find some type of hardware to hold my exhaust tips a little straighter. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like right now. You'll understand what the problem is. Do you see how crooked it is? It's like, it matches up right up there, but then it goes down at an angle for some reason. I think it looks broken, and that side is the exact same. After that, I will start sanding and polishing the engine cover, so that way I get two things knocked out today. I have the engine cover propped up in here with the emblem, but it is not done. If you look closely, you can see that the reflection has some type of orange peel on it, and I'm trying to make it look glossy and shiny. This isn't even on. I put the engine cover right there so that I can sand it. They're not held on to the actual exhaust, so there's no way for me to like use a hanger or anything like that to pull it up. They're pretty much bolted into the diffuser. I don't know, I might use some metal zip ties and try to like use some leverage to pull it up on that side, or L brackets or something along those lines, or maybe I'll just buy some thin aluminum and make my own brackets. We'll see what Home Depot has. Let me shut my hood first. Here's a better view of the exhaust tips. You see how crooked those are? I don't like it. Shout out the weekend. I made it to the home of the pots. I ended up getting a lot of everything. I got this rod right here, which is aluminum, and I'll probably bend it if I need to. I got these black corner braces, which are for shelves, I believe, but if these work, these are my preferred ones because they're already black. And then if neither of those work, I got this braided steel line, and I'll drill a hole through the exhaust tip and just pull it up from somewhere. I might have failed to say this earlier, but there's only 4 days left until the show this weekend. So I kind of have to get things going pretty fast. Also, I'm trying to host a pre-meet to the entire show on Friday, and I haven't made any type of content for that. So we'll see how that goes. I aired the car all the way up so that I have room to kind of fit under there. And I'm going to clean that exhaust tip a lot because it gets my hands super dirty anytime I touch that. Look at how dirty that thing is. That's gross. And then we'll see how I can push this thing up. This is pretty much how I want it to sit, but if I let go. So I need to find a way to hold this thing up on this side somewhere. Here's the deal. This exhaust tip is attached to that little bracket right there. And when I push it up, the bracket goes a little higher. But if I just pull the bracket up, it doesn't really sit flush. I think I'm gonna hold it all the way up, and then the problem with that is there's not really a spot for this thing to be mounted on. This is the back of the exhaust tip. There's not really a spot for it to be mounted on, except all the way up here into the frame of the car. So I'm gonna see if those little black brackets that I got are long enough for that. If not, then I'll have to make my own. I got the jack under this thing just to get it flat. I honestly don't know where to put screws or what to attach it to, but at least it's where I want it, and wherever I bolt it, hopefully it'll just stay there. I think I'm gonna need to cut one of these off just so I have room to put this in there. So let me get the cutting. I rounded out the edges because the spot I want to put in is actually pretty tight around the exhaust tip. I'm planning on reusing this bolt right here to attach this side that I cut, like this, and then making a hole up there to hold it. Hopefully, even though it's in the back of it, it's enough to hold the entire exhaust tip up. Surprisingly, it lined up pretty well. I would show you guys, but getting down there and filming with light is very difficult. So I lined it up exactly where I told you guys. It took me a while to tighten it up because I had to keep getting up and laying back down and seeing which tool I need and this and that. And then finally I got it on. I still have the jack on it. We're about to see if holding it from the back is gonna hold it up straight. It's lined up on the bottom better than actually where I had it before. I might be okay with this. Cause look at this side. That's an uneven gap. I got this one tidied up. It was actually a little tougher because there was this weird little bracket behind the chassis, so I had to drill for a long time. Let's lower this. Oh, nice. That looks good. Let me close the trunk, get everything out of the way and see how it looks. There it is. Actually, it looks like it belongs there now. Enough dibbly dabbling. Time to get working on this thing right here. I'm gonna wet sand this thing and hopefully I can get rid of most of that orange peel. The 1000 grit or the 12 or the 1500 grit. I ended up sanding it with 400 grit because there was a lot of orange peel that I wanted to get rid of. Most of it is gone. There's still a few like high and low spots like that right there. But once it's polished, it's gonna be pretty much impossible to see it. Now I'm gonna go over it with the 1000 like I was gonna do earlier. And hopefully we should start seeing a shine come out of it. It's as sanded as it'll get. So I need to put it somewhere sturdy so that I can put some pressure on it when I start polishing this thing. The way it holds under the hood is with tabs. So there's nothing sturdier than having it on the engine when I polish. I just hope nothing flies around when I'm polishing. I'm gonna use Meguiar's Ultimate Compound just because it's a good all-around compound and I don't have a buffer, so I'm just gonna use a towel. Put it all over the cover and not buff it in yet. I just wanna get full coverage, let it kind of dry on there before I start buffing. Now that it's dried a bit, I'm gonna start rubbing it in with a good amount of pressure in a circular motion. I'm probably gonna end up doing like 3 or 4 passes just so I can get it as shiny as I can by hand.
The next day.
We're back at it with day 2 of getting my car ready for hot import nights this Saturday. I just trimmed some of the excess vinyl that was like around my trunk since my trunk is gonna be popped at the show. I touched up a little bit of spots here and there on my fenders that were damaged from me airing out and stuff like that. Nothing crazy to see, just me and an X-Acto cutting straighter lines. And right now I'm trying to figure out why my fender and bumper kind of pop out when I air out like this. And it leaves this gap. When I air up, it's completely gone, but when I air out, it's there. And the only thing I'm seeing is that on the inside, my wheel hits a tab that attaches the fender and the bumper together. So I'm gonna air up and see if there's anything I can shave off that tab without making it useless. And that way it just clears my tire when I air out. Also in the back, same thing when I air out, the bumper and the fender don't align anymore. It's not tremendous, but it's definitely visible. That's what I'm gonna be working on right now. Here's what the tab looks like. And I don't think I'm able to cut any of it since the bolt is so far out. So I'm just gonna have to deal with it until I eventually change out these tires for something a little more stretched. For the back, it's actually misaligned even when I'm aired up. So I'm gonna loosen it and try to align it again. Let me see the other side. This one's a little better. I'm gonna try to realign them better just by unscrewing it, pushing it in, and then tightening it exactly where I want it. And hopefully at least it'll last until the show. I think that's a bit better. It's not perfect, but it's definitely way less noticeable. Due to the fact that Airlift sponsored this vehicle, I need to put their banner on the car for the show. And I'm thinking, at first I wanted to put it here in the middle of the back, right? This is black, so it's not gonna be very visible. Plus, the trunk's gonna be open most of the time at this show, so you probably wouldn't really see it. But I have been seeing people put it like this. Obviously it's gonna be straighter, but something like that. I think that might look cool, at least for the show. Let me clean this with some rubbing alcohol and get that thing ready to put on. There it is placed. I didn't do the best job applying it, but I think it's gonna be straight and fine. But I'm gonna use a squeegee real quick just to make sure it's all stuck before I peel this thing. Yeah, it's holding on. Very nice. There it is. I don't even know if you can see it on the camera. It's very subtle. But since the windows are gonna be open at the show, and there's gonna be a lot of light in the car, it should be pretty visible. I think it looks cool there. It's subtle, but it works. Now I'm gonna work on some engine bay details. I'm gonna be wrapping that little silver piece that shows through the engine cover. This one right here. I'm gonna be wrapping that the color of the car, just so it has a little accent under there. And then probably wrapping this black because it's visible and I don't like how it looks. And then maybe wrapping the top of this cap. I don't know, we'll see. there it is. It's not perfect, but it looks way better than that abomination that used to be there. Here's the engine cover on top of it. I just put that emblem on so that adhesive is still not dry. So I'm gonna cover it up with some masking tape just so it doesn't move overnight. But that's pretty much how my engine bay is gonna look. Obviously it's gonna be cleaned up, but I'm pretty happy with it. It looks simple, but a little bit better than stock. There we go. One last thing I need to do before the end of the night is fix the sagging side splitter I have on my passenger side. I don't know what happened, but after I bagged the car that day, my side splitter just decided to sag exactly where my jack point is. So probably it's just a screw that needs to be replaced, but this is what it looks like right now. You can see it from the side right here, right there, it sags. Now that looks a lot better. All I ended up doing was jacking the car up, taking out one of the screws and kind of relocating it closer to the edge so that it could tilt up the side splitter. That's about it. I'm gonna go upstairs now. I want to print a decal for just this aluminum strip I have that I'm gonna be using at the hood prop. This strip right here, just because at a show it is recommended to have a hood prop so that your hood doesn't fly open or slam shut. That thing's still curing. And I'm gonna go upstairs and make some decals. It is now day 3, AKA Thursday, of me getting my car ready for hot import nights this Saturday. And today we actually have a little bit of a speed bump. Tien's car had some random issues last night, so we need to take care of those.
Hi. Apparently according to my co-worker yesterday at work, at lunch, my tail light was on. I went out there to check on the car, the light was on, but the entire car was off, including the actual light switch was off. Some people say it was a fuse at work, and then others just told me to disconnect the battery. But then afterward, talking to Mark on the phone, we find out that is the little rubber garment piece where the brake switch actually had broken off. And as I look on the floor mat, there it is, crumbled all over the floor mat.
You did like a temporary fix for it.
Yes. I had a co-worker, he told me something about use a penny and get a tape and then make sure I am sticking it this way where the brake paddle is at, and it should work. I did it last night just so I could drive home safely without having my brake light constantly on, and it worked out just fine. So you guys could see how I did the penny.
Oh, there's the chunks. Oh man.
Yeah.
You must have slammed on the brakes.
I think what happened, it was at lunch and I sit in my car eating lunch like a loner, and I think I kept kicking the brake paddle or something, and I think it just decided to just give up.
Also, this piece of plastic or whatever this is 30 years old, and it's probably ready to be replaced.
It needs to be replaced.
It's over.
Yeah, it's hard.
Let's see what you did with pennies. You can see the little penny right there. That's the switch, and it needs to be pushed in for lights to be off. Even when your car's off and you press the brake pedals, the light's gonna turn on. So obviously if your car thinks you're always stepping on the brakes, even if you're not in it, the light's always gonna be on, so it's just gonna drain your battery. So that's a temporary fix. I'm sure it's gonna knock out at some point. But we ended up getting some random little rubber piece from O'Reilly's that the forums said would work. It's not OEM, but hopefully it works. And I'm gonna replace it and we'll see. That was a super easy fix. I ended up just putting that rubber grommet right there. You can see the black grommet. When you push the brake, the switch opens up, and then when you close it, it locks it. It probably took me like 20 seconds or so, but now your battery won't die. The main focus today is going to be cleaning the engine bay, the interior, and the trunk of the car. I took off the plastic guards and the intake scuba tube or whatever you want to call it. Put them right there. They're okay, they're kind of clean. But I'm thinking maybe sanding down this metal brace bar, sand it down, and maybe get it as polished as I can. I think that might look better than black plastic.
2 days later.
Today's the day. It's Saturday. Yesterday was super hectic. I didn't get to film any of it. I hosted a car meet yesterday. It got super packed. We got kicked out by the cops. It was crazy. I have no footage, so who knows if it happened. My car is clean on the inside, engine base clean, trunk's clean, interior super clean thanks to Tien. I didn't film any of that either because when we started cleaning, we just went at it for like hours, and filming would have taken up a lot of the time that we didn't have at that point. My headlights have a leaking problem. Unfortunately, it is raining today, so I had to wrap over them really quick just so that no water can get in. Look at that. It looks actually fine on camera, but up close, it's very last minute. It looks terrible. But the blinker does show through it, so I think it's still legal. I don't know. We're just waiting for Ethan to show up at this point so that we can roll out to downtown Dallas for the show. I'm actually gonna be rolling in with an entire team, even though I'm not a part of the team, because they offered me to be at the front or the back of their lineup, since they have a huge team and they're gonna be in the middle of the market hall. So that's really nice of them. I'll show you guys more of what the car looks like as far as cleanliness and what I did to the engine bay when we get to the market hall, because right now I just don't want to get it dirty, and I wrapped over the hood so I can't really open it up. Alright, we made it. There's like a whole team here. Billy doesn't like my wrap. That was an annoying drive. Driving to Dallas is terrible. How was your drive?
Terrible.
It was terrible.
Even though I wasn't low.
We had to pull over for Ethan because I thought his bumper was dragging on the road, but apparently that's just how it is. But I think we're waiting for a couple more cars to roll into the show over there. We finally parked inside the show. That took like an hour and a half of just sitting outside and not moving. And finally we got a spot. We're parked. We need to clean the whole outside of the car because we got rained on twice. And then we're gonna try to leave before the show starts to get Tien ready to dress. I'm probably gonna change and maybe hopefully take a 30-minute nap.
I'm judging you right now.
I think we're done for now. The car's over there. I don't think you can see it. But the car's clean. We're gonna head home and hopefully we'll be back before the show starts. You ready? I don't know what's going on there. We made it back to the show. We've been gone for like 3 hours. That's Brandon. You might know him on TikTok. I don't know. And he's about to review my car. Hi guys. Review my press car sport. Nice. And we're waiting on Billy to give him a monster because I'm tired of holding 2 cans. The show's pretty packed. Yeah. He's just chilling there.
I was watching her eating.
Hello everybody. I don't know if you can hear me. It's like the middle of the show at this point. It's super loud in here. I'm probably just gonna show you guys my favorite cars out here, because what am I gonna say anyways? it's the end of the show. It has been a super long day. We got here 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. It is now almost 11:30 p.m. It was long. It was super long, but I did end up coming home with top 25. I did end up coming home with top 25, which is fantastic. Thank you. We're gonna head home. I don't know how much I'm gonna show in this video, but thank you for coming along to the first show with this Mercedes. It was quite an adventure, and I can't wait for the next show. I thought that was the end of the video, but that was ridiculous. It took us an hour to get home because we had a flood warning and it rained on us super heavily. Remember when I left the show, my car was completely clean. Now it is covered in rain and dirt all over the bottom. Also, awesome special of condensation inside of my headlights.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. I guess that's one way to end quite a long weekend. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Take it easy.